Hello, my fellow nerds, and welcome to the Nerd Empire. I hope you all are having a fantastic day today, and I hope you all will enjoy today's reaction video. With that being said, let's get right into it, shall we?
This one is called Gen Z is Completely Fucked Now. So, and this one's by More Pegasus. So let's see what he has to say about Gen Z.
Okay, we gotta talk about these psycho TikTokers. Now, I used to talk about this years ago where people would be faking mental illness and faking these disorders. Basically just...
Oh, God. It is amazing just how many people are trying so incredibly hard to fake a disorder. Like, none of them have gone to officially get diagnosed by a professional or a medical professional to actually prove that they have like ADHD, autism, or whatever the fuck else they're trying to pass off that they have, because it's fucking stupid. It's like, you claim to have this stuff, but did you actually go and get diagnosed by a professional? No? Then don't say you have it. Because you can't just, see other people with symptoms and think you have it just because you possibly have the same symptoms. No. Just no.
inventing random shit because they're bored and they feel like it and they really desperately want attention from people. So we're gonna go through a couple people that are going viral recently. Here's my little preview for the video. We got this psycho, this psycho, this psycho. We'll also be talking about the infamous nose ring theory. It's making a...
I've heard about this nose ring theory. I don't know what the theory is, but I keep hearing that there's a nose ring theory with women, and I don't know what it is. But it seems to have a lot of these people who have a nose ring up in arms about it.
Come back. It's this theory where people with nose rings, for some unexplained reason, tend to lean towards crazy. Also, a couple more psychos who are all mentally ill in different ways, it seems. Starting with whatever this is. So you know how this new generation has the pronoun stuff, right? The he, she, they, them, the standard. But then you got some people who are like, let me cook, right? Let me cook some more. I'm not special enough. I need more attention. And yeah, you should not let them cook.
This is a video about my pronouns. I've had a lot of people ask them in lives, and I thought it would be easier to just have a video explaining my pronouns. So I use ze, them, it, its, and they, them pronouns because...
God, this whole pronoun thing. Oh, I think this whole pronoun thing has gone way too far out of fucking hand. There are so many different pronouns now that's just... People are constantly making up new ones just so they can feel special, just so they can be unique, or whatever their mental problem is. It's like, why? There are only two genders in the world. They, them doesn't even make any fucking logical sense, because they and them refers to more than one fucking person. You refer to yourself as they and them? Well, what, do you have like multiple personalities? Is that why you're saying they, them? Z, zer, it's Z, no, just, it is a whole fucking thing. My God, it gives me a goddamn headache.
I like them, and I think they're fun to use. How you use these them pronouns in a sentence would be like, Z is crocheting, I'm watching their live, I'm crocheting with them. Most people know how to use it, its, and they, them pronouns in sentences. Why do I use them? I use them because I think they're fun.
Right.
It and its refers to things, not people.
Alright, so we got the casual...
Wait. Okay, here's some. She, her, he, him are the only two actual legitimate ones. They, them, or whatever. Fey, fair. Z, them, they, dem. Dem is stupid. They, dumb. They, dem just sounds like somebody who doesn't know how to pronounce the TH.
Z-Zem. Now, I don't know about you. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that in real life ever. In fact, I'm almost certain that none of you have either, unless you are in this person's neck of the woods. It really seems like this stuff is purely an online thing that they're purposely doing on TikTok. I mean, they talk about it as if they use it in real life as well, but I find that very, very hard to believe. At least, yeah, I just don't see that working. I mean, it would take so long to even explain. And how would you deal with strangers? This is something I just don't understand. Like, why would you make life difficult for yourself on purpose? I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, every time you go to the cashier at the grocery store, when they call you a she or whatever, you're gonna go and be like, well, actually, there's this thing called Z-Zem that I have invented here. I want you to use this going forward. And then they probably encounter like hundreds of people every day, so they probably can't even remember that. Also, you're saying you're doing this for fun, so you just kind of expose yourself. It doesn't really you know, reflect their identity. It's just some random fun shit that you've
And see, here's the problem I have with a lot of this. It's like all these people, they are trying to force everybody to use their pronouns, and that's not how life or society works. Look, if you want people to use your pronouns, respectfully ask them to. Don't just say, you have to use my pronouns. Bitch, no, I don't. You either respectfully ask me to do so, or I'm going to say fuck you, and I'm just going to say you or he or her. And if you don't like it, well, that's your problem, not mine. Because I live here in reality. I don't live in your little fantasy world where all this shit exists.
Completely made up. Also, to address the elephant in the room, the ticks and stuff. Now, I'm not gonna 100% say that they're, you know, faking it or anything like that. There's no real way to know unless you're them. Or, you know, you could technically go through all their previous videos and just expose them. But I will say, I used to talk about this stuff before, and there were a lot of people who did actually get exposed for faking this shit, and it seems like their certain quirks and stuff only pop up on video, it seems. Only pop up whenever they're doing TikToks, or only recently, and several years ago, they did not have it. So I don't know if this person is doing that, but if you are one of those people who legitimately take time out of your day to fake this shit, then you're a piece of shit. You know, people actually have to, you know, suffer through this type.
And here's the other thing. The reason why I don't understand why a lot of these people try and fake these things. It's like you go to the people who actually legitimately have these mental illnesses or mental problems or tics or whatever. You go to these people and you ask them, if you had the choice, would you want to live without these things? And I can probably guarantee you 9 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10 of these people would say yes. I would rather not have this shit and live without it. And here you are, faking it for views, which I see as nothing more than just a big fucking insult. It's like, you might as well just go up to the person and take a giant shit on their face and say, ha ha, now you deal with it. Like, what the fuck?
Stuff. So yeah, it's not cool. Right, so then they talk about when they actually discovered this new pronoun system or whatever, or whenever they made it up or whatever. And what do you know? It was when they were 16. Interesting, right? Interesting. Nobody could have guessed.
I discovered neo-pronouns when I was 16, I think. Woohoo! And I didn't really get them at first, but I learned more about them and discovered Z-Zem pronouns, which I really liked. I started using them with friends, and then woohoo, pretty word, I eventually put them in my username. So I've been using Z-Zem pronouns, pretty bird, for a couple years now. I discovered, what you doing? I discovered I didn't mind its pronouns. When I was reading through a lot of hate comments that I get, a lot of people use it to try and dehumanize you or like hate on you or whatever. But when I was going through those comments, I realized I genuinely didn't mind its pronouns, and for me they're a vibe. So hopefully that explains my pronouns. Woohoo!
Yeah, that explained a lot, honestly. So you were 16, you know, you're very impressionable. You probably log onto TikTok every day, you know, before even brushing your teeth or taking a shower. You just immediately got onto that app, go to the internet, and look for validation from fellow mentally ill people. And you find a way to make them affirm your crazy delusions. And the end result is you just end up looking like some sort of exotic parrot. I honestly feel bad for the parrot now. That's a really mean comparison for the parrot right there. But yeah, maybe if a parrot had a bunch of metal in it or whatever, and put on clown makeup, I guess. I really just feel bad for these people because imagine living your life every day like this. It must be fucking exhausting. But anyways, moving on to the nose ring theory. Now, you probably heard of this before.
I will say this. I have absolutely no problem with people who are, you know, of... No, I don't have a new... I'm using the same mic as I did last time. I have no problem with people who, you know, identify within the LGBT, you know, thing, you know, straight, lesbian, gay, bi, trans, whatever. I don't care if this is what makes you happy. Go right ahead, as long as it doesn't affect those around you or harm those around you. That if it gets to that point, then you know we have a problem. The reason why it's such a big problem with the rest of the people in the world is that these people within the group, it's like the LGBT group itself is nothing but a corrupt piece of absolute human waste. It is full of nothing but toxic shitheads who are trying to force the world to conform to what they want. The actual community is fine, but a lot of people within the community are getting fucking sick of the actual group. But the problem I have is when they try and force their beliefs, their ideals on everyone else and try and force them to conform to what they believe, what they want, how they see the world, and just be like, no, it has to be like this, fuck you. And, you know, that's when it becomes a problem, and it's what they're fucking doing. So, with, you know, if what you're doing is making you happy, fine, but don't force it on other people. That's when you're gonna start having people get pissed at you. That's why a lot of people are pissed at the fucking group or the community, is because you have the minority in the community making you fucking look bad because they're trying to force the entire world.
I've also talked about it several years ago. Basically, there's an interesting correlation that a lot of these psychos online who are clearly mentally ill seem to have nose rings. Now, obviously, you can wear nose rings and be perfectly normal, a perfectly chill and cool person, but some people out here are ruining it for everyone, it seems. If you do happen to wear a nose ring, just know that you might be judged adversely on the internet now, because there's a lot of people who do wear nose rings who are completely insane. And
oh my god, it's kind of like the thing where if you're named Karen, it's kind of unfortunate because Karens have ruined the name Karen. So I'm guessing now those who are, you know, mentally fine, who have a nose ring, are now in a position of a problem because everyone else that has a mental problem that has a nose ring has now adversely made it a problem. So, yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, there's some sort of correlation, some mystic correlation here, so it doesn't always have to be the case, but yeah. So this guy went viral calling it out.
Septum theory this, septum theory that.
What the fuck?
You guys are just jealous that I am swag, awesome, gay.
Septum theory. I've seen this phrase getting kicked around a lot. Basically, see someone with a septum ring, they're most likely going to be fucking mentally ill or just straight up retarded. Angry, deranged, Starbucks drinking lunatics, mate. Oh, but Jack, that's pretty judgmental. No, it's not. It's just true.
If you're throwing around the
well, thank you.
Full-fledged Nazi. Full stop.
Tired of people role-playing as resistance while they literally go around killing and disabling their grandmas and disabled comrades. I think this. I've commented on somebody. I think it was Smuggle on one of Smuggalana's videos. So, people nowadays they have used the word Nazi so fucking much that nobody nowadays understands what an actual fucking Nazi is anymore. A lot of these people seem to call others Nazis simply when they have a difference of opinion or belief. It's like they don't agree with their opinion or belief or what they think is fact, instantly labeled a Nazi. It's like, do you people remember what a fucking Nazi is, what they actually did, what they actually stood for? Do you remember that, what you were taught in history class? I can't say do you remember that because nobody really nowadays really fucking lived through that, but it's like, did you not learn this shit in history class? Do they not teach this anymore because they believe that it doesn't exist anymore? I mean, hell, there are people who genuinely believe that the Holocaust never happened, which I think is fucking mind-boggling. But don't use a word to call people unless you actually know what the word means and the history behind of what it actually means. Nazi, fascist, socialist, all this sort of things. It's just people are using these words now and they have no idea the understanding of the word or the history behind it. And they seem to use it like it's a fucking everyday thing.
That's interesting. I don't understand why people got that on their face, mate. You know that's for cattle, right? So they can put the rope through the fucking nose and drag you around.
Right, listen, I don't want to be that guy, but how do you go out looking like this? You are a straight up clown. In fact, a clown probably has less shit on their face if we were to do a one-to-one comparison, I feel like. And look at that absolute conch shell in her nose, bruh. Dude, at that point, I feel like you're operating at 30% capacity.
See, personally, I don't mind piercings. I don't. But with everything else in life, there is something known as too much. There is too much of a thing. You can do too much. There is such thing as too much piercings. There is such thing as too much tattoos. There is such thing as too much of pretty much anything. Too much of anything can be a poison. Too much of anything can be a bad thing. So, moderation in everything. There was a YouTube skit video that did show the German dude and the new feminist wave, and they looked pretty similar. Some are cute and nice, but yeah. It's like, I'm not making fun of the people I'm about to explain it, but there are these people who have like their entire face filled with piercings and these what look like bumps on their face that are filled with pockets of air. It's like, if that's what makes you happy, that's fine, but realistically, that is too much. I say it's a waste of money, but like I said, if it makes you happy, go right ahead. It's not hurting anybody. It's not disrupting anybody, but I think that it is a bit much. Like I said, there is such thing as too much.
There's not enough oxygen that is even flowing to your brain. Maybe that's what actually makes you mentally ill. It's just a lack of oxygen. I feel like that would make anyone ill, physically. Now, one of the previous times we talked about one of these specimens, they were complaining about not...
See, if it wasn't on her face, all these tattoos, I think it wouldn't be too much because, I'm fine with the whole tattoo thing. Kitty, it has been a long time since I've seen you here. But, the neck tattoos I'm okay with, but the face tattoos, that's where it's a bit much. It's like, if you're going to if you don't already have a job, that's fine with you having face tattoos. Or if you don't have some sort of income where face tattoos is, it doesn't matter. The face tattoo thing is just, it's something you really shouldn't do because it can limit a lot of things in life.
getting hired at like a TJ Maxx or something. Basically, they were complaining about getting fired for their self-expression, and it was this.
The other tattoo thing I never really understood is the entire arm tattooed black. I don't know what that's supposed to represent. I don't understand that. I don't get it.
Lady with a shit ton of tattoos and like a tattoo of like a demon or something. And the reality is, if you show up looking like this to a job interview, you're not exactly a people's person, all right? You're not exactly going to be perceived as someone who is, you know, welcoming, cool. You know, if there's a bunch of kids going to the store to get some clothes, or, you know, kids with their parents getting some groceries or some toys, if they see this fucking devil, you know, at the counter, they're gonna be a bit put off, you know, gonna be like, mommy, what the fuck is that? So yeah, back to this person here, you know, I feel like just without all that shit on your face, you would look pretty decent, but it's like, why? Why do you do this to yourself? I just don't understand. Feels like such a cry for help, a cry for attention, you know? Also, I'm like an anime guy, right? And I think the closest thing we have in real life to like aura or chakra is like our breathing. And if you somewhat inhibit your breathing even slightly, you're basically nerfing your power level, right? Even in the gym, if you lift or whatever, you'll notice that if you take like a deep breath before your set and, you know, you really get ready for it, then you have way more strength on it, right? It's because like, oh, you got...
You know, by the way, for people, if you do lift, make sure you breathe while you're lifting, because if you take a deep breath, lift up and just hold the breath in, and then you drop the weights after you're doing your lift and then breathe out, you're going to pass out. You have to breathe as you're lifting, otherwise you're going to fucking pass out or just, you know, have a hernia. Or not a hernia, but an aneurysm. That's a serious risk. You could have an aneurysm.
All that oxygen filling up. I don't know the exact logic there, but yeah, there's also those breathing techniques like Wim Hof or whatever, where you can like supercharge your body to survive in like extreme cold temperatures where it normally may not. So legitimately, like, breathing is an actual superpower. So when you inhibit that, you know, you're kind of just cucking yourself. Now, if you have like a tiny small nose ring or whatever, okay, fair enough. But if you have a walrus tusk in there, I mean, come on, you're just like, you're giving yourself a cold, you know? You know, when you're ill, you have a cold and you just can't breathe enough, and it's so annoying, especially when you're trying to sleep and you're like always, you know, making that noise to, you know, clear their mucus and shit like that. That's basically what's going on here, and you're doing it on purpose. I can't, bruh. Right, so then she just calls it like really stupid, and that says that we should not be talking about this, even though this is TikTok and literally you talk about the most nonsensical, unimportant shit all the time.
But for real, this septum theory shit is so fucking stupid. Like, sincerely, like, where are we? There are so many more important things to talk about here on this fucking app right now. Like,
and yet here you are talking about it.
Like, if you're commenting septum theory under my posts, I'm blocking you.
How can you make fun of me without talking about the political and economic state of the world right now?
A lot of people seem to forget that you're posting this shit online. You have opened the floodgates for anyone and everyone to comment on your shit and say whatever the fuck they want. So if you don't want to hear if you don't want to read hate comments, if you don't want to have any of this shit, don't post anything online. Because it's the internet. Have you not learned it? Have you not learned this?
Now, how can you criticize me when there's a genocide going on right out of the Hassan Piker playbook right here, the Hassan Orbiter playbook? Listen, you put yourself online to get clowned on, looking like a clown. People are gonna call you a clown. It looks like a clown. It quacks like a clown. It's gotta be a clown.
The top doesn't really fit with her. Honestly, it doesn't work for her. It's not good.
Also, it's really not that deep. People aren't making like a comment on your like intrinsic.
The dude's wearing a safety pin for a fucking earring.
worth or anything like that. They're just saying, hey, this looks stupid. And a lot of people who look like this give off the vibes that they're mentally ill and they have deep trauma and problems, right? And not gonna lie, you know, all these years, the theory, you know, the nose ring theory is
You could tell this woman's crazy just by the look in her eyes.
quite accurate, I feel like, at least online. You know, in real life, you might encounter people that are more normal, but that's just in general. And in real life, there's more normal people than people that are online, because people online...
Yeah, the other piercing I never really understood why is, you know, on the bridge of the nose, like right here. That just seems... That seems painful as fuck.
Are desperately trying to get attention, trying to get validation, trying to go viral, trying to get clout on TikTok or whatever platform. There's plenty of decent people with nose rings, of course. It doesn't mean like you put it on, you're automatically insane. That obviously doesn't make any sense. Although there is something coming up that might...
What the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck is this?
It might indicate that, we'll see. But anyways, as this trend started to get viral, a bunch of people got really butthurt about it. There was this one guy who basically said that anyone who doesn't like nose rings is a pedo.
Septum ring theory is when you are visibly older than 18 and conservatives get sad you are no longer a minor. If you have...
Where the fuck did this logic come from? That is such a giant leap of logic that even Evel Knievel wouldn't attempt it.
visible tattoos or facial piercings, it is immediately recognizable that you are of age. And that makes conservatives sad, because they can no longer roleplay with you in the position of the depravity in their sick fucking minds.
Okay, what the fuck? Where did that even come from? What are you even talking about? Also, I don't think this is just conservatives. It's like even liberals can see a whack job psycho and go, yeah, that's a whack job psycho. I know what's going on. This has got to be a Hassan fan. It's a classic. I mean, come on. Randomly calling someone a PDF file that you disagree with, that's right out of the playbook. That's on chapter 2. Chapter 2 of Hassanetics right there. Also, nobody minds the tattoos either. But you know, if you have a giant demon tattoo of a monster on your face, yeah.
I think all these
are
people
likely
forgot
gonna
to
judge
take
you.
their
Like,
meds in the morning.
You can't have a giant sign on your head that says, hey, look at me. Hey, look at me and judge me. Which is essentially what a nose ring and a tattoo is, and then be like, oh, I'm mad that people are judging me. Like, of course they are. You're making a statement. It's not even just nose rings or tattoos. It's like with anything. Your clothes. If you wear some wacky clothes, people are gonna judge you, you know? Or if you have colored hair or whatever, anything that's different from the norm, people are gonna judge you. Sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way. And the problem with people like you is you're literally proving the theory right. Like when you react like this and when you call everyone that doesn't like something, which is a preference, a pedo, then you're just affirming that you're mentally ill. You're just affirming that you're a complete psycho, crazy nut job, of course. Moving on to this girl going viral. Apparently she can't find a man. TikTok girl number 7,000 who can't find a man. And decides the best thing is to...
You know, with a little bit more makeup, she actually could look like Boxy from, you know, way back when. Because she has the look for it. And, you know, the mental problem for it. To be just as crazy as Boxy was. For, you know, anybody who remembers that YouTube personality.
Post about it online to try and get sympathy. And lo and behold, she thinks that everybody else is the problem but cannot find any problem in herself. She says, I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life. Interesting.
So I'm 24 years old and I...
No, Boxy. Let's see if I can... See?
Okay.
Looks a lot like her. But this is from 16 years ago.
I've been trying my hand at dating men specifically for probably about 5-6 years now, in a serious way. I'm single at the moment. My boyfriend and I just broke up recently, and I have probably dated about like 4 to 5 men, seriously. Keep running into the same issues every single time I date a man, and I've been trying to like really get to the root of what it is. And now I know what you're thinking, you probably have a type. I do not have a type. These men don't know each other, they're not friends, they're not from the same area, they don't look alike. I really do not have a type. The only thing that these men have in common is that they are men. I really have been reflecting.
I love these type of women. Because they can never seem to understand. It's like, why do all these men leaving me? Why do all these men cheat on me? Why do all these men yada, 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 yada? And they all seem to say the same thing. I don't have a type. It's the men that are the problem. No, it's not. Sorry if you hear me chewing. I have some pizza. All these women share one common denominator. They choose shit men. And then they blame it on the men. They take no accountability. No accountability or responsibility for their own choice. They are choosing these men. And then they say men are the problem.
A lot and trying to figure out what like the root of all these issues is.
Okay, how do I put this? So, if we do some quick maths there's only one common denominator in all these failed relationships, and that is you, right? So, definitely look into that. But also, you know, I'm just gonna be fair here. It's fine to have failed relationships. You just move on, you know? Now, failed relationships for 5-6 years in a row with several different people, okay, that might be indicative of another problem there, especially if you're actively looking as you're saying, right? But the fact of the matter is, you're not gonna get along with everyone. You just need to find one person. That's the whole point, you know? You gotta find that one person. At least I hope that's the goal. I don't know what the fuck people want these days, all right? More than one or whatever the hell they're doing nowadays, God knows. We got people like iDubbbz and Destiny spreading their little cuck mentality, the Sneekos of the world, you know? You never know what's going on these days. But yeah, whenever you have a constant series of failures like this, you gotta look inside, you know? You gotta know that, hey, am I the one, you know, who has a problem? Am I the one picking bad men here? I feel like if you're dedicatedly looking for so many years, you should probably find someone who you at least deem as good. Like, at least one of those relationships, maybe it didn't work out, but maybe you like the guy. Maybe the guy was actually nice. But apparently, these are all bad men. And apparently, she's been in relationships for like 5-6 years or whatever. Like, I assume it takes you an entire year to determine this person sucks. Like, I just don't understand. Anyways, she continues and blames everybody else but her. The classic TikToker strategy.
Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect, but I'm not the reason that any of these relationships ended. One of the main issues that I've come to recognize is that
You know, maybe the first relationship, yeah, she might have a point in saying that it's probably not her fault. But then number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6 comes along. You know, maybe you should start to understand, maybe it is me. Maybe I need to understand that maybe I'm the problem. You can't just look at all these failed relationships and not see the one glaringly obvious problem and say, nope, that's not the problem. Can't be me. Nope. Be like, bitch, you are the problem. How do you not see this? Why are you so blind to it?
I don't think men are really socialized to know what it means to truly love someone, like love their partner and care for their partner. Obviously, I'm not saying this is all men, but I think it's just not normalized for them to like, I don't know, just like, I guess I don't know how to phrase it. What I'm saying, for example, is that...
Excuse me. There was a TikTok video I saw where a woman was on a podcast. And she said something that surprised me. She said that she believes that men are the true romantics. They are more when it comes to love, they love deeper, and they are more romantic than women. And I was like, huh, a woman actually said that. Surprising. Where I kind of believe that's, you know, not 100% true for all men and women, but I think that's majority, like the majority is true of that.
Every single one of these men individually has looked me in my eyes and told me that I am the love of their life, I'm the most important person in their life, that they would take a bullet for me, and every single one of them has treated me horribly, okay?
Right, so these guys are lying to you. I mean, guys will say a lot of shit to get you.
Because those are the type of men, if they say that so early on in the relationship, that is a red flag. Because they're basically just saying that shit so they can fuck you. Don't get me wrong, lady. You are cute. But you are choosing the wrong men. Now, after so long of dating, maybe 6 months to a year, if they say that stuff, then you know what? They probably mean it because, you know, they're with you. They love you. You know, all this sort of stuff. You can't trust a person, be they man or woman, if they say that stuff like within the first 3 months of their I'd say within the first month of the relationship. That's a bit suspicious, because I think they're just trying to, you know, sleep with you at that point. You got to be very careful nowadays.
To like them or to sleep with them or whatever, but if they're lying, it is your job to realize that and not believe their words. You know, maybe you can fall for the first lie, but what about the next lies, right? You're being like, okay, this person's a liar, I should not trust them, you know? And I always say, you gotta look at their actions, right? If they treat you horribly, they obviously don't like you, and you should move on quickly. Yet, you seem to be the type of person to be in relationships for years with these guys and then just keep complaining. So apparently men are the problem, but also I pick people who lie to me and treat me bad. Like, listen, I'm not saying it's impossible to be manipulated. Of course, you know, sure, you might feel in love, maybe you're blinded, but 4 or 5 times, come on. At that point, it's gotta be you, all right? If the same thing happens again and again, that's just you not deciding to make any changes, right? Also, for the love of God, somebody explain this to me. What does crying on TikTok even do, honestly? What does it do except feed your own ego? I will never understand this. Like, what would compel someone to do this? I feel like if a guy did this and went like, wah, I suck, and then started crying on TikTok.
Oh, it's majority of the women who are making these kind of videos. If men do it, they will get absolutely fucking flamed for doing that shit. They will. Instantly. Go to any man on TikTok or YouTube that has these kind of videos and look at the comments versus the women.
Everyone would just be clowning the fuck out of him, as they are her, to be fair. Right, then she continues and says how awesome she actually is. Definitely a sign when somebody needs to tell you how good they are.
I don't know about you, but when I tell somebody they're the love of my life and that they're the person I care about the most, I show it. I'm treating them accordingly. Part of it that really trips me up is that they believe it. They actually believe in their heart that I'm the love of their life and I'm the person they care about the most. I started calling it out. I would be like, you do not love me and you do not care about me. Like, point blank period. Otherwise you wouldn't be treating me badly. And they will argue and they get genuinely offended. They get offended. I honestly pity them because I don't think they're socialized to know what that means. And I don't know how to get it across in a meaningful way to them.
Yes, I pity the guys. They are not socialized, you know, the little, undomesticated animals right here. Here's my question. Why do you even need to get across your argument? Just leave. Go to the next guy. You're telling me you're in a year-long debate here. telling this guy, hey, you don't actually love me, and I'll totally prove it to you that you don't treat me well. Okay, I mean, sure, you're right. Then just leave instead of arguing about it. Leave and go find someone who actually does love you.
It's the weird thing with a lot of these relationships. You see or you hear these people complaining about how bad their relationship is, or how the person's fucking up or not doing this or that. They're doing everything but the actual logical, rational thing, which is to leave, end the relationship, and move on. You're doing everything but that and creating more stress and more problems in your life. Whereas if if you both are not working on to make the relationship better, or, you know, trying to improve things, if it's only one-sided, just leave. If the person is not willing to put in the work for the relationship, or not willing to put in the work to improve the relationship, and only one side is, leave. That is the only rational, logical solution. And yet these people aren't doing that. They're doing everything but that. And then they go on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or Twitter, and they go on complaining like this.
Why bother arguing with someone who doesn't even listen or understand you? Dude, I swear to God, every problem in this world would be solved if people just had a shred of common sense. Holy shit. It's like, these people don't know how to navigate the simplest of problems. This is the type of person to search something in TikTok before he Googles it, you know? You just know it's that type of fucking idiot. TikTok has the answers, guys. The answers to my love life will be in the TikTok comment section, of course. And you know what ends up happening is that TikTok is also filled with these very bitter, hurt women, and they're in the comments, and they will basically reaffirm this person's opinions. And then they will just end up, you know, hating all men, essentially. And they'll go their entire lives thinking, I've done nothing wrong, I'm so nice, everyone else I encounter is just horrible. And it's just not healthy. It's just not healthy. You need a little dose of reality here.
If everybody needs at least one or two people, one or two friends or family members in their life that is willing to tell them the truth and bring and humble them back into reality. Because if you have nobody like that in your life, all you're doing is living in one giant fucking echo chamber. And you're just, and then if you live like that your entire life, once the moment comes where reality hits you like a fucking truck, your whole world is just gonna fucking shatter, and you're just gonna go fucking nuts. You need at least one or two people in your life that are willing to humble your ass, tell you the truth, and keep you grounded in reality. Because we have way too many people who are living in a fucking echo chamber.
Then she does us the kind favor of explaining what love actually is. Yes, she does. She definitely knows.
Well, let's hear what she says.
They just don't listen. And I'll be like, okay, you wouldn't have done this bad thing to me if you actually loved me in the way that you say you do. Like, that is not what love is. That's not what love is. When you love someone, you don't do things to intentionally or even unintentionally hurt them. Why is that considered love to you? I'm just like, I don't know where it's coming from. I honestly pity them, because that has to be awful, but like I can't handle it anymore.
Kowalski analysis. Fellas, we have a nose ring. Nose ring detected. Opinion rejected. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, of course. Listen, I know at least one person with a nose ring who's great, so therefore this theory is false, guys, totally. My advice is that I think you'd have a better time in love if you spend some time evaluating your own flaws, you know, bettering yourself, probably not venting on TikTok. Now, it is possible, theoretically, that every guy she met is horrible. It is also possible that she met tons of good guys, but specifically picked the horrible ones. So maybe she likes horrible guys and wants them to love her, which is not possible, it seems. So plenty of possibilities here, but, you know, probably put down the phone for a second, you know, think about what it is that you truly want. If you're okay with being treated badly, which seems like this person is, you know, now they're not, but it seems like they were for several years, then that's just what you're gonna get, you know? You get what you can sort of tolerate, right? And eventually you gotta stand up for yourself, not take any bullshit. If someone is lying to you, you should be ready to leave. But you're barely ready for social media, to be honest, so I don't know, good luck. Anyways, we got more butthurt people over the nose ring meme.
So when you see a man comment septum ring theory on a woman's video, what that means is that he is letting you know that he can fit it through a septum ring.
Bro, she got like a Naruto ninja star in there. She got like a saw blade or something. Yeah, I don't know about this theory. I don't think that's what anyone has ever thought. Maybe that one freaky dude calling everybody pedos, he might have thought of that. Also, to be fair, some of these nose rings are absolutely gigantic, so I don't know, man, it might be a compliment. But yeah, I don't know why people can't just take a simple joke, you know, like, don't really need to be offended by this, just sort of laugh at it, you know, and move on.
These are the type of people that can't take a joke, and they cannot take any constructive criticism, or criticism whatsoever. They see any sort of joke or criticism or constructive criticism as an attack on their person, instead of just reading it, saying, and just thinking about going, maybe they're right, maybe they're not. I'll have to really think about this. You can't take everything as a personal attack. That is no way to live your life. That is just nothing but stress.
It's just a little funny thing. Now, there's actually a lot of nuance to the nose ring theory, because here's another girl talking about it, and notice how she actually has the smallest nose ring out of all of them, right? Barely even visible. And somehow, she's the only one that's not offended by this.
From what I'm gathering over TikTok, the septum theory is like not taking into consideration any opinion that comes from somebody with a septum ring, because like they're usually crazy or have some like crazy trauma that caused them to get the septum ring. My old school Italian mom just wouldn't let me put a hole in my face, so like this was the alternative. I mean, like, props though, like I wouldn't take anything I say seriously either, so I agree.
W mom literally saved your ass there, and this is what I'm talking about, all right? It's the lack of good parenting that's actually cooking these kids. You know, I'm not going to absolve them of all responsibility, but a lot of these mentally ill freaks have parents that were equally mentally ill, and essentially they are the ones who raised them like this. Or they were just not present in their lives, right? And they were raised by social media. But also, look at this girl. That is maximum oxygen flow. Her breathing is barely blocked. Therefore, her brain actually functions properly, and therefore, she's the least offended out of everybody, and she can actually take a joke. Wow, who would have thought, guys? Maybe there needs to be a book written about this, about like the size of the nose ring. I feel like the bigger nose ring, the more crazy you are. I think that everybody would agree with, right? The bigger and the thicker it is, like, cause it can be big but really tiny as well. But that just looks weird. But if it's big and thick, then it's blocking your breathing. That's just By the way, who even thought of nose rings in the first place? What kind of psycho is like, yeah, let me just fucking pierce my nose, dog? I mean, to be honest, nose rings are.
It's like somebody looked at a cow and saw the nose ring that they had and be like, huh, I want that.
Quite tame, like compared to like tongue rings or whatever the fuck people do. Like, bruh, I don't know what people are doing. I never like understand that. Like, if it's for fashion, why is it in your mouth and why is it like hidden? Also, it's affecting like how you're eating now. Like, that's just ridiculous. Also, some people have like eye rings or something. Nah, bro, I can't. Now, this next girl apparently got BPD from a nose ring.
Septum piercing theory, septum. Bro, I didn't get the septum because I'm mentally ill. After I got this piercing, I became mentally ill. I'm gonna put kind of a trigger warning on this video, low-key, because it's kind of a hard thing to talk about. But after you get these piercings, so the way they pierce it, it goes through a certain nerve, which hits the exact same nerve that synapses in your brain to your emotion. And this nerve will give you BPD if you hit it. So after I got this piercing, I got BPD, and I haven't been the same since. I started dyeing my hair black, I started being emo. Don't get a septum piercing unless you want this to happen to you. This isn't a joke anymore.
Okay, come on. She gotta be trolling at this point, but I cannot tell anymore. But that's an interesting theory. So
I
it's
like
not
her little
mentally
troll.
ill people that get nose rings. It's nose rings that cause the mental illness. Fascinating, truly. I think I'm more likely to believe the latter because of the whole oxygen theory, right? Less oxygen, less brain power, more in mental illness. Makes sense to me. But anyways, whatever that was, a good warning. Somebody probably benefited from that. Anyways, moving on to this grandma here.
Septum ring theory? I'm gonna need you back.
This thing holding on to her fucking chin. What the fuck is this? I mean, even if she didn't have the nose piercing or this, whatever the fuck this is, you would be able to obviously tell that she's fucking nuts.
It's to explain to me exactly what you mean by septum ring theory, because you commented over and over on every single one of my videos. People just don't appreciate the beauty of piercings, and you're afraid of them, and you're intimidated by them. So then you use them to try to offend me. But what you don't understand is
Lady, you're not even talking right because of that goddamn thing in your nose.
don't get offended by that. I love being unique. I love being different. I love disassociating myself from you MAGAs in any way possible. So I don't know what septum ring theory means other than you're just afraid and fearful of anyone who's different than you.
Okay, I got a ton of flags here. First off, this is a grandma, all right? This ain't a Gen Zer, so I feel like this is more likely to be satire. I mean, it genuinely
It looks like a giant fucking joke.
seems like legendary satire here. Because honestly, what the fuck is that in your nose? What the hell is it you even got there? You got a clipper on your neck. You even got some shit on your mouth. Like, how do you eat with that? That is maximum oxygen blockage. That might actually be worse than a deviated septum. Like, you might legitimately pass out. Cause where is the space to breathe? Fellas, if this is your grandma, like unironically, then I think I understand why you turned out the way you did. And then, that's just a rough start, I guess. Bad spawn point. But I have a...
I have the I think she's just, this is one giant troll, because none of that stuff actually looks like it's pierced on. Like the three black things looks like it's just has double-sided tape. She just stuck it on her face. The two rings just look like, you know, regular attach-ons that aren't actual piercings. The thing on her neck is one giant fucking joke. And the giant fuck off thing in her nose, it's just so, it's all so funny.
Strong feeling this one's gotta be ironic. There's just no way people walk around with that fucking brick in your nose. Also, last video I said I was taking a break. By that I mean I probably won't be doing daily uploads anymore. I'll still try to get out as much content as I can. Really appreciate all the messages. I didn't actually know how many people look forward to my videos. I mean, I technically know because of the view count, but just hearing you guys' messages out made me feel great. So I feel very loved. Thank you guys. You know, I'll do my best to not let you down. Now click this video or you gotta get a massive nose ring for life, and it blocks 95% of your oxygen, alright? You're cooked. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Okay, we got it.
That was a good video. I like it. Yeah, the fucking nose piercing thing is just, it's so ridiculous, the type of piercings a lot of the people have, and it is genuinely amazing what people will do for alterations on their face.
Well, that is the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give a like and subscribe. I post videos 3 to 5 days a week here. I also post videos over on my other channel for gaming as well, so please make sure to give that a look-see, see if you enjoy that as well. I also stream anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week as well. Links to all my social medias will be on my YouTube page. And with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.